This week's Show Within a Show brand is Hublot, and our question is, why all the hate?
I've never hated them. I've never felt this way. I don't know.
The internet does claim to hate Hublot, or is it just Nico that claims to hate Hublot until they pay him enough money to fly out and do a factory tour?
I think it's they're fun. They're fun. They're not boring. They really don't take themselves too seriously, and it's easy to joke about. I make lots of jokes about Hublot, but I also love Hublot, and I only joke about the ones I love in many instances.
Hublot is one of the major luxury brands that does not attack people for saying bad things about it.
Good morning to everyone that's following us in the chat. Let's have what should we have a clappage for this morning?
We could clap to, as I say, screw the algorithm.
Clap to screw the algorithm. Yeah, I'm in for that. Yes.
Screw that algorithm.
The algorithm must go. Down with the algorithm.
Damn it to algorithm Hades.
Yes, the seventh circle of hell for the algorithm. Right, good morning. Welcome all to aBlogtoWatch Weekly. We hope you're doing very well as well. We hope you're doing as well as Ripley is, who looks like he's been up for 29 hours in a 24-hour day.
Does he?
I think if he's quite tired. See if we talk quietly. I think Ripley might just nod off in the background. If we just go, if we just sound sultry and comforting, and Ripley, good morning, Ripley.
I honestly can go to sleep anywhere, Rick. You don't want to start playing with that.
Okay.
I'm just going to drop out of frame. I'm like one of those animals. Like, it's not the goats, but what this. You're the that have the farm. What's the ones that you could just put to sleep? Like they can be doing something, and you can just if you rub them or if they're sitting too long, just. Or like a shark, you invert them.
Fainting goats. They're called fainting goats, and it's a genetic problem.
Yes. That's the men who
if you
stare
put
at
them to
goats
sleep, I don't
film.
think they wake up afterwards, right? So I don't think that's the terminology.
Well, if you kick them while they're down.
Well, it's also called cow tipping over here.
That's slightly different.
Can you actually tip a cow?
Yeah, if cows are standing up when they fall asleep, you give them a shove, they fall over.
That has a very different meaning in California.
Ooh, okay.
Have you done it? Wait, have you done it?
I've heard rumors.
Oh, okay, I've heard rumors too. My dad grew up on a farm, but cows are very large. I don't think you can just shove one and it'll move in any capacity.
You might need to take a run up.
Or you hit it with a small car, like a little Fiat you drive into.
How Ripley went to Swiss jail.
Whatever.
Well, the cows
I just wanted to see what would happen if I tipped it. Those are protected cows.
A local from Lausanne was telling me that cows are responsible for a countable number of deaths a year in Switzerland. So maybe,
as opposed to an uncountable number of deaths.
Well, surprisingly
There's just
high.
so many.
Tonic immobility. A chicken.
Chives, the watch butler, has.
That sounds like a Parmigiani watch.
The torque is out, tonic immobility is in.
Yeah. We're going to introduce a new thing in this show called Show Within a Show, where we're going to go through some topics. I think we've changed the novice question to what is tonic immobility in watches. Select a fault. To rename tonic immobility. I like that. Thank you, Chives, for chivesing in. Okay, let's start. What should we start with? I think we shall start with this from Mike. From Michael. Wait a minute. We need to clarify what constitutes a new model. Okay, who is... Before we reveal probably in the chat as to who the great audience have decided is the most guilty, who is the most guilty of calling a new SKU a brand new model of watch? We have in the picture a Airain. There's only one R, so how do you pronounce this brand?
I don't know. I say arraign, like you've been arraigned, arrested.
Arrested.
I think that is this from the 1940s of Germany or something? I mean, why did you?
I'm trying to avoid saying it like that.
Yeah, it's very difficult. It's like your mind tips to something, and they're like, "Is it really?"
It does. I mean,
the design is.
And then we have the MBNF consistent sequence of spinny fidget spinner things that you...
So is that new? Like, that's a really good example right there, because it's very blatantly, you've never seen something like this before. So in that sense, it's new, but in another sense, it looks like it's just the same watch with the different colors thrown at it. So if we draw the line at no, new colors are not a new watch, then, then these are not new. But then you look at them and you're shocked. So in that effect, they are indeed new.
I mean, should we start every new article with a beside like your strap line of who's written it, with like an out of 10 score as to whether this watch is actually new or not? 9 out of 10 is actually a new watch. 1 out of 10 is just a new colorway.
You know, the industry has already come up with a name for what these are. Long ago, it acknowledged that most of these aren't new models, even if they too often say so. And I had not heard this term used in this way outside of the watch industry, and now I use it regularly. But they use the term novelty. It literally means like something new, but maybe not that new. Like, we're not going to go so far as to call it a new model, but it is fresh-ish. And I like that because it's accurate. It's just like newness. Like, it's just some newness. We're not going crazy here, but it's definitely sort of new. And
I like some newness. Yeah. That's fine.
Like me some newness. So what watches have you ever bought whereby you've actually really just bought the same watch twice, but it's just a different color?
Oh, man. I mean, let's start with the Seiko SKX like 007. I've owned the black one like 8 different times in my life. At one point, I had the black one, you had the yellow one, the blue Pepsi one. Like, this happens way more than we think. Look at all the dudes who own, like, anyone who owns more than one Submariner, just go ahead and look in the mirror. You know, that's...
I just got one more Casio. All the redundant G-Shocks I have. Oh my gosh. There's definitely novelty there, but that is not a new model.
So are there some brands where it's more acceptable than others? Like, is it more acceptable to just have 15 different G-Shocks that are all effectively the same G-Shock, just a different color? Or Hamilton khakis has been suggested in the chat, but having every variety of Rolex GMT is not acceptable. Let's judge.
Well, I think price point has some of how you're presenting it, and also whether or not it's a collaboration. Like these MB&F or these Mad ones, rather, this is a collaboration. As David said, like, we've seen this basic watch before. There's a lot that's different about this one. Is it a full new model? No, but it's also a collab with a non-watchmaking entity. So what did you really expect? Why not use a jumping off model? If it's just a brand releasing a quote unquote novelty, well, you should have a little bit more free reign here. You're a watchmaking entity making a new watch. Do more than just swap up the dial color. So I give a little bit more leniency to the collaborations or the limited editions, provided that's not the only thing the brand does. And then also the scale of brand matters, I think, a bit as well. If a really, really small brand who has like 8 SKUs does a new variation of a line extension, yeah, we can kind of call that a new model. If it's like Omega making the umpteenth Aquaterra, like I can't. We already have like several hundred models in that collection alone.
Why is this distinction important for consumers? It's important for us because we have to designate how to put our news time, which obviously is very important to Ripley. But for Mike here, what is he talking to the industry, or you think he's mainly talking to watch buyers?
He's just having a good old moan. Just a good old rant.
Good old moan. I like that.
I think probably a little bit of both. There's clearly some of this is directed at the brands because they're the ones dictating the narrative surrounding the releases in the form of, the press releases themselves and the marketing that goes into them. But I think also for the collectors and the enthusiasts who follow these and buy these, just sort of a reality check of like, this, don't necessarily get too excited because every week a brand's releasing a new SKU. Some of this is really just so they can release a new thing, a novelty, as Arlette said, like this week. It's the equivalent as if Ford rolled out the new Mustang. only in blue, and then released a new colorway every 2 weeks for the rest of the year until the 2027 model shows up. Like it's not normal to see this in other industries.
Welcome to the watch industry.
Yeah, so I think it works both ways on this one for Mike's perspective, but I think it does start with the brands. You know, if they weren't hyping up this watch now in blue is actually a new watch, I don't think that it would be received in that way by the consumers.
Yeah.
Are there any other? Sorry, David, go on.
And part of the issue is that this creates the choice paralysis that we talk about so often, because, you know, sometimes you either have, you know, you say, sometimes what happens is that I see a watch that I like and I'm tempted to go after, and then I realize, well, you know, maybe in like 3 months or 5 months or a year maximum, but probably less, there will be a new version in a different color or something like that I cannot. I don't know for a fact whether or not, you know, they will launch the color and the specification that I really want within, you know, 6 months or 5 years or maybe never. And then why not just create everything all at once? Like in the same way how you can buy a car in multiple colors the moment it launches, right?
I have an insane suggestion.
Go on.
Brands, if they had the discipline, which they never will, could just decide not to release all their watches around the world. Why does everything have to be a global release? If you have like a limited edition of 100, that's not really enough for the whole world. So do more niche releases. Yes, that means aBlogtoWatch isn't going to hear about everything, but do we need to? Right? Like keep some things secret. So you can release as much crap as you want to. Just don't tell everyone about it.
Are there any other industries where of scale where releasing the new color of something is considered newsworthy? As you say, you don't do it in cars.
Maybe
unless it's a limited.
Only fashion.
Dude,
Sneakers.
Jordan Brand has been releasing the same stuff since the mid 80s and calling it new. And like they'll have like 10 colorways a year, and it's like it's new.
Right.
And you know, it's even the same tech that it's not even like it improves. They're still using the same polyurethane that crumbles and stuff over time.
Right. So shoes, sneakers, trainers, as we call them in the civilized world.
Oh, the paint industry.
The paint. Pantone. It's all your fault. Yeah, but
Mocha Mousse.
Mocha Mousse, yes. Them were the days. The halcyon days of just Mocha Mousse. Have we had this year's colour announced? That kind of happens in the autumn, does it not?
We usually get the new Chinese Zodiac watches, and then we get the new color watches.
Ah, right, okay. Well, have we had any Zodiac watches out yet? When do they come?
They've started. They've started. That's the only reason I can tell you it's the year of the horse next year.
Yes, you were commenting before we started recording that as a side effect.
Excited.
Once every 12 years.
Yes. Someone in Le Carnotier at Vacheron's dusting off their marqueterie to do another one of those each year.
Oh, damn, I never knew how to draw a horse. Damn. This is not our time.
Unintended consequence of the watch industry is that we know the signs of the zodiac. Any other good unintended consequences of watch fashions? Literally the only one I can think of is the one that Ripley just pointed out, but there must be another. Something the watch industry does or celebrates that makes you go, oh, wait a minute, that's an interesting piece of lateral
anniversaries.
Anniversaries, like what they're called.
Birthdays of people who are no longer alive to celebrate birthdays.
Auction results.
Auction results. The names of auction houses.
So many things important in culture. I really didn't
need to know. Yeah, okay, cool. Well, there we go. Right, we're going to do we're going to have a try at this, our first show within a show. So our first show within a show this week is going to be looking at three things: a brand, a rant, and a novelty question. Well, not a novelty question, a novice question. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to give it a bash in the chat, in YouTube. Feel free to contribute or ask a question or do whatever you see fit as you comment on what we're talking about. So this week's show within a show brand is Hublot. And our question is, why all the hate?
That's the question?
Discuss.
Why not all the love?
We discussed this not that long ago, Rick. Are you for bad? I mean, we
but
talked
not
about
in easy editable form.
I thought that this hands-on debut, the Hublot MP17 Mecha 10 Arsham Splash Titanium Sapphire watch, would be a good launching off to discuss Hublot. Why all the hate?
I'll
Is this
get
the
started.
good one for launching off for why all the hate?
Yeah.
Is this really the one to do this with?
Well, I thought that David's article delved into some of the reasons by pointing at other watches that David does like, such as the Sapphire Spirit of Big Bang.
Okay, so like
and the
our
Sang
goal,
Blue
Ripley,
too.
is to like cut this segment up so that someone who doesn't know as much about watches can be like, oh, these watch nerds
That's
are
why
talking
all the
about a
hate.
brand.
We understand now why all the hate.
This is not that, but that's that. So we wanted to have like a 3 to 4 minute, we're obviously blowing our time at this point, discussion about these brands, again, for a slightly more general audience. So it's sort of like just a couple of important statements from us about the brand so that someone has some insight.
So why all the hate?
I've never hated them. I've never felt this way. I don't know.
But we know that the internet does claim to hate Hublot, or is it just Nico that claims to hate Hublot until they pay him enough money to fly out and do a factory tour?
You know I can't
It's
relate
just
to normal
posers.
humans.
Yeah, I think it's just a bunch of. I think it's just posership. Is that even a word? I mean, when people go online and they're like, "Oh, look at me, how refined my taste, so I can hate on Hublot too, because I'm beyond that now." You know, in my world of collecting, I think that's basically what's happening.
But there's got to be a reason why it was Hublot that gets all the ire. So tell us what's great about Hublot.
I think it's
Why is it easy
they're
target?
fun. They're fun. They're not boring. They really don't take themselves too seriously. And it's easy to joke about. I make lots of jokes about Hublot, but I also love Hublot. And I only joke about the ones I love in many instances. And that's very true for Hublot. But someone who doesn't realize that, I think a lot of people are able to have fun with Hublot, are easy to just jump on the bandwagon and say, oh, it's garish or whatever. But anything that I say negative about Hublot is simply, it should be taken as a good thing. They do more fun stuff than almost anyone else in this industry.
But Ripley, you figured it out almost. And I just realized this. Hublot is one of the major luxury brands that does not attack people for saying bad things about it. Almost all of these brands attack even consumers, definitely the media, of course, their own retail staff for saying bad things. Hublot has never been that way. You can you can say anything you want about the brand and they'll just be like, okay, that's a good point. I almost think they aren't mean enough to people. Like, I mean, Patek Philippe, they'll be like, oh, you don't like this color? You're cut off for good. You know, Rolex is like, you took the wrong picture. You're out. Hublot is like, okay, keep trying. We're going to keep trying. You know, like I think that's part of what it is they're not pretentious enough.
Yep.
Not enough
and
pretension.
pretentiousness has kept all these people at bay because they've always bowed to these big brands and the Holy Trinity and all the other nonsense. They're like, look at the refinement in the Calatrava. It's just amazing. You know, it's just because they are making excuses on behalf of these big brands when they are falling all over themselves and making the biggest, laziest jobs ever. And Hublot is there with freaking material scientists working in its freaking basement. And they're like, oh, that's not watchmaking. That's not in-house.
That's not what I grew up with.
Nonsense. What I want is a Jaeger with 38 hours of power reserve in 2015. That's what I want.
So are we getting to the heart of Hublot, why all the hate, which is they don't push back, so they make themselves an easy target because everybody who's trying to produce clickbaity online stuff needs a whipping boy.
They don't really care if anyone likes them.
Exactly. So because if you were to be as hateful to Rolex or Patek or Jaeger or Panerai even, you'd start to get blacklisted for things. But Hublot are like, we can handle this. So actually it's showing the maturity of a brand that's like, yeah, we don't care if you don't like it.
Hublot's like a stand-up comedian. They're okay to deal with the hecklers. They know they're here to entertain. They're comfortable with themselves, and they're realistic about it. They're not the one who's up there giving a lecture at a gala and is upset when someone's phone rings or they cough. They're happy to take on the hecklers, and they're not offended. They almost enjoy it for the novelty of it, because I mean, half of their watches are the definition of a novelty. It wasn't made for practical purposes. It was meant to entertain and be impressive, and that it is very much.
I think they're upset with
Sapphire
Nico though, because Nico apparently I don't really see his stuff. I only know him as a person. Apparently he doesn't really have any reasons behind it. Like he doesn't have any arguments. He's just like angry because it's trendy. And they're like, "What is your problem? Why don't you tell us?" And he's like, "No, it's still too popular. I like being popular." So I guess that's the problem.
Now Hublot have reached out to him and I've called him on it. So he's now running a whole thing about, should I go to the Hublot factory? Yeah. You can watch the videos.
All right, I recommended this to them. Maybe this is, oh boy.
He should go. If he goes, sees what they're doing over there and still doesn't like them, well, obviously, I guess you have to play to the algorithm, I guess. But like, it's really hard not to have an appreciation for what they do once you actually go on site.
Well, there we go. There is our appreciation of Hublot. Why all the hate? And we, in summary, it's because Hublot are prepared to take on the hecklers.
Yes, that's a good summary. But spoiler alert, in a couple of days,
haven't told anyone why to buy these watches.
In a couple of days, we publish an article where we Orion and I dive deep into the Unico movement of Hublot, where we sat down with one of their lead engineers who's been at Hublot for, I don't know, like 15, 20 years, something like that. Cool. And there you will see the magic of Hublot and Unico and all the rest of it.
Well, there we go. Check out Hublot on aBlogtoWatch.com, etc., etc.
Look, they're real luxury watches. They excel in materials.
The idea of a section is a section needs to close. It needs to be a tight section.
Can't end it.
No
so
more.
Bad at
the
that.
end. You can write a note for next week when we talk about
Can I write
a
5,000-word article supplement?
Yes, you can.
Read his addendum.
That's fine. You can do the show notes. Cool. Okay. Furthering our show within a show, rant of the week. Ariel, Mecha Quartz, discuss.
Well, I saw this term pop up a few years ago, and I was at first intrigued. I'm like, is this a new thing? Mechanical and quartz? Is there some novel thing here? And I looked, the first time I saw it, I was like, I don't see anything new. And then the second and third time I saw it, I didn't see anything new. And then I started realizing people who have a quartz watch with moving hands started using the term mecha quartz somehow to override people's prejudice in regular quartz. So by putting the term mecha on there, they're promising that it's, again, something mechanical. Just means a moving part, that you can be quartz or manually wound or automatic. It'd still be mechanical. Non-mecha quartz, I guess, is just digital. And I'm pretty sure you know what that is when you see it. I don't think you see hands in a dial. Like, is that a digital watch? No one has this problem. So the term mecha quartz is a made-up marketing term. It does not, like, movement makers don't be like, here's our mecha quartz. Like, again, some marketing person came up with that, and I guess it just stuck. Like, I don't know, Rolex's bezel design. And it cheapens the look of watches because it's on a lot of watch dials. Like, the people making it are like so nervous that you'll see it's quartz. They're like, but the word mecha's there. It doesn't help you understand the watch. It doesn't help clarify its parameters, really. If it just wants to say quartz,
a little bit.
Well, when watches first came out that were quartz, they said quartz. And you had hands, that was the mecha part. So I guess I agree, David, if it just says quartz. But the mecha part is a bit redundant.
There is a distinction on these. Yeah. The mecha quartz is a Seiko branded thing in the VK60 line that is, it's a quartz movement, battery powered quartz chronograph movement. But they've taken the mechanical module for the reset from a traditional mechanical chronograph. So the single one area where these are different than a standard off-the-shelf quartz chronograph movement is that you get a smoother sweep with the seconds hand, and when you hit the reset button, they immediately snap back instead of doing that quartz thing where they motorize around the dial.
I understand. First of all, Seiko, I understand, did not come up with that term. Some enthusiast did, and then Seiko adopted it, like Seiko Monster and all their other product names, right? So that's one thing. People write mecha quartz on things that don't do that now, right? And still, to me, that's just still quartz. Like, okay, it's got, a reset function. So look, I'm not saying that everyone has to agree with me. This is my rant. It bothers me. that's the nature of these things. Not everyone's going to be like, yeah, that's 100% universally bad. The people who made these watches, they thought it was fun enough. But I see it so often, and especially in watches that like doesn't mean anything anymore. You know, now you have just watches that have a sweeping seconds hand, and like, yeah, it's just slightly different gearing and stuff like that. You had ticking originally because it used less battery power, and now they go back to sweeping, which just uses more battery power, and they put the term on there like it's something special and new. I guess what pisses me off is it's deluding people into thinking it's A, new technology, B, somehow better than the other thing, or C, you know, again, like, worth being proud of on a watch dial. So for me, I look for watches that don't say that.
So conceptually, just for my education, was Mecha Quartz supposed to be limited to quartz-powered chronographs with hands on them? Was that originally? But we now get 3-handers that also say Mecha Quartz, which is kind of...
It doesn't mean anything anymore. It's literally quartz with hands, Mecha Quartz.
Quartz with hands.
Yeah, I gave it a little bit more leniency when it was just a division within the quartz chrono types. But again, I don't think this should necessarily be printed on a dial. It's still a quartz watch. When the hands reset quickly, awesome. But this isn't the same selling point as like, constant force or something that isn't necessarily apparent by just looking at it. And I think Ariel's right. Once we get to the point where we're just describing a smoother sweep for a running seconds hand, we've sort of lost any tangible difference other than what's basically an aesthetic thing. If it was a two-handed watch, that movement would perform identically. It would just use more power. So I think we've kind of stretched what was a subtle distinction in the lexicon into a marketing thing. And then everyone's run with it to the point where it's in almost in lieu of like depth ratings and stuff on so many watches, and it doesn't need to be there like that.
Okay, so that's our rant of the week. If you've got any other suggestions you'd like to hear us rant about, then do email podcast@aBlogtoWatch.com or hit us up in the chat. Novice question: what is and why is, probably more appropriate, an equation of time?
I can give you the what. I can never give you the why.
The why. I mean, that's very deep. That's very deep. Here we go.
What is, Rick, you're the Panera expert, so you should know this. It's the difference between the perceived solar time and the mean solar time. So like the difference between like what a sundial would show and like what the the actual time would be. Now, why you would need that, I will turn that over to someone else.
Ariel, why would you need equation of time? Or is it just that why would you need a Panerai, and why, if you're going to buy a Panerai, would you not just buy the one with equation of time on it?
Like look on the internet for a succinct answer. I think it's a good reason to buy an extra watch. You're like, oh, I don't have that complication yet. Astronomers would use it because they would have to obviously go ahead and make adjustments because of the difference of, again, the perceived time versus the sort of actual time. So for various, I think, navigational things that was required. I'm really struggling to figure out something in the real world like today. Right? Like that's what I want to know is like something that we could do today with the equation of time that would somehow, make it useful. It only deviates by plus or minus 15 minutes at any given time. So it's not a huge difference, but it's enough. And again, it's for observation purposes, right? If you're just wanting to know the time, calendar, anything about your day, it has no value.
But I always figured that apart from just looking cool, it's just a watch face and it just says equation on it. That's cool. That anyone who was ever going to need to use it would need to be able to use it with slightly more accuracy than is able to be demonstrated on the average watch style. Like, if you really need to know what the actual if you really need to know what the actual astronomical time was, you probably need to know it within the 10th of a millisecond, not within the width of a bar on what is effectively a power reserve track.
It shouldn't even work.
A Panerai made in Italy. or
It could just be a
Switzerland.
bar with like a little pin, and it just says equation, and it goes from -15 to +15, and then it
I want
exists.
a better
you don't use
display.
it.
It's such a useless esoteric complication. Make it look bonkers. Don't make it like look like a little. I'm changing the channel on an old like radio or something. Like make it look crazy. Make it look as convoluted as the explanation for why you might need it. That's what I want out of it.
You guys remember those astrolabium watches from Lisnardan? They had, I think they were like that a set of 3 or something. They had the one for Galileo, Galilei, and all the rest of it from like 20 plus years ago. Google it. It's astrolabium from Lisnardan. Those are like the proper things. This is just a joke.
So according to my internet research, there's one slightly actual real modern application for it outside of watch nerds.
Right.
It
okay.
is,
Can you give us a clue? Give us a clue. See if we can
solar
guess.
energy engineers. It's used by them to calculate the precise movements for solar trackers and things like that, to follow the sun's path across the sky. I guess that's it. It used to be navigators and astronomers, really.
So if you've got a movable solar panel array in your backyard, then you could use the equation of time to make sure you're tracking the sun properly.
So we're back to Rick's thing of like, at this point, you're a solar engineer. Go ahead and track it on this like 3 millimeter wide thing on the bottom of your Panerai.
Don't you love our questions for novices? Imagine this is the first conversation with someone you're trying to get into watches.
I want to learn more
Let me
about
tell you about
watches.
this
Here's
feature.
the deep end.
It's really rare.
Yeah. I mean, we want to enable people to learn about watches, but we want to make it a little bit of a closed shop still. We don't want to just reveal all our workings. So yeah, we start with equation of time as the novice question. Because to be fair, there's a few non-novices out there also asking what is an equation of time, and we're all asking why is an equation of time. So there you go. If you are a solar engineer and you can cope with a 45 millimeter or 46 millimeter watch, then Panerai has the watch for you.
Not very precise, though. You should not need to know anything exact, okay? Yes. You're an engineer, but vague is okay enough.
It's probably okay if you need to know when it's at the +15 or the -15, because it's at the end of the track. But if you need to know the time in between those when it drifts in the middle, probably not the watch for you.
You can adjust this accurately in June and December. I think that's when that's basically it. And the 21st of December is when you can adjust this, and then it's all over the place. And it cannot stop either, because then of course it's linked to a perpetual, so maybe it works with the in tandem with the The elegant thing would be to link this to the perpetual so that you set it correctly on the 21st of December, and then you start adjusting it, and it passes through all the months and whatever. So if you put this in a drawer for 3 months, which you will because it's large and uncomfortable, then you bring it out in March, and then it's basically accurate for that one day when you decide to wear it. That's it.
I can say one of my favorite nerdy astronomy terms now, the obliquity of the ecliptic.
Okay. There's keeping it real for the amateur, the obliquity of the ecliptic.
Is that how you say it? On the dial. Don't put megaquartz. Put that on the dial.
The obliquity of the ecliptic.
Ecliptic. That's what we're calling this part of the show. It's superlative. Cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed our show within a show. The best show within a show you've ever seen.
Did we actually explain this to anyone other than stay away from these watches because they mean nothing? But that's why people like watches. Oh my God, did we sell equation of times or not? I have no idea.
I've no idea. I mean,
they're either romanced or disgusted.
You're never going to put me off an equation of time with one of these.
So little romance in this.
If you're leaving this confused about the equation of time, I think you now understand the equation of time. I think that's the gist of it.
The sad part, there's very little math, right? For people like math lovers, like I heard equation.
No, there's no equations involved.
It's a little needle that floats back and forth along a +15, -15 scale.
I mean, we should really be able to get your second or your watch defacers to do something with an equation of time watch, whereby the plus 15 minus 15 is something completely different. It just goes backwards
it's the
and forwards.
accuracy of your Panerai. That's what that could be.
Right, hands on the Audran Newport Concours with the A-Lang & Zona Saxonia thin watches with onyx dials. Ariel, you were at this event last week before last. Were these the specific watches they were trying to push at this event, or just the ones you happened to get hold of?
So these were debuted at the event. They have nothing to do with cars. A Zona has confirmed that they will be using their car show events throughout the year to basically release new models that, again, don't have anything necessarily to do with. These are what you might call like evening tuxedo watches. Yep. Thin, hard to read, black dials, tuxedo all the way. But very, very lovely, actually. I think it's rare to see actual onyx dials on A Zona watches. And what was interesting was actually they were 40 millimeters wide, which isn't huge, but today is actually considered quite large for a dress watch. So interesting style there. But they had other watches on display. In fact, if you scroll down just a little bit there, they had this really lovely little, showroom, kind of like a little tent there. You can see that. Nice space, lots of watches, a lot of their fancy stuff there. It was
with
actually one of the more impressive.
Large, with the obligatory large A-Lang & Zona.
But of the watch they released, you notice that? That's the released watch.
Yeah. That's good.
And then I took a bunch of random pictures of the cars and the grounds and the ocean.
Cool. So what did you think of the watch? I mean, I think it is a bit discombobulating to release such a simple watch at a car event as your. It just seems a bit weird, doesn't? Yeah, I don't get it.
The launch, honestly, was more for media. Like, if you were at the car event, you really, other than that clock you saw, you wouldn't know, like, this is the featured watch here. It was just one watch among many, and then, again, having the clock there. So that was really just sort of a media launch.
Right, okay. I mean, it's just a bunch of cars parked in a field. I mean, if A-Lang & Zona are just looking for a field to park a bunch of cars, I can offer them one.
That's the Doris Duke estate.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Some pictures of one of the old Vanderbilt houses. So some rich person's lawn or backyard.
Right, rich person's lawn. Oh, there we go. That's quite a nice car. So, gents, who's this watch? Anything that anyone got to say about it? Or is it just a very simple A-Lang & Zona? And if that's your thing, then that's your thing.
It's not like a budget platinum or gold watch for I'm supposed to say around 45,000 euros.
Around because I've not decided.
Yeah, that's the protocol.
They don't publish.
Yeah, and that around 45,000 euros price applies to both the honey gold and the platinum version. So I can't, we're really not too sure. But in the context of Lange, this isn't that expensive.
So contextualize, explain to me this way that Lange have of not actually telling you the price, or rather than just saying around, just so they can discount it.
Explain, Rick. That would imply that I would know. I cannot tell you.
Okay, guess then as to why this is A-Lang & Zona's attitude to pricing to tell you it's around 45. I mean, if they're telling you it's around 45,000, does that mean it is 45,000? Or is there a chance that it's going to be 39,000 or 51,000?
Well, here in the United States, we can wake up tomorrow and it could be 85,000. Or we really have no idea.
100% tariffs on platinum. Yes, German platinum at best.
Specifically German platinum. So is this? I've never noticed this in A-Lang & Zona's pricing structure, that they kind of let you a little bit of guesswork as to what the price of this is. So you get a surprise when you go into the boutique and ask for one. They can vary up and down depending on whether the Christmas party is due to be paid for or not.
I went on Chrono 197 and found that you can get a Platinum Lange for as little as $18,000, and right around 20-something thousand, you can pick up an 1815 beautiful looking watch with just small seconds. Or you can buy a Richard Lange for 24. So roughly less than half the price, or just about half the price of this new. So that's not a good look. You can even buy a freaking Lange 1 in platinum for 27.
And so when you walk this out of the boutique, how much are you reselling it for?
Not much. I mean, why would you buy this if you can get one used, a longer one in platinum for 30? It's just what I don't understand.
Yep. Okay.
But they can never be used unless they're new first.
True.
That's the weakest argument.
Okay.
My point is, Longa needs to start somewhere. Okay, they can't go straight to Chrono 27.
Okay. Let's move on. David, Glasssuit Original Senator. I've got lots of long name watches. Glasssuit Original Senator Meissen?
Yes.
Meissen watches and visiting the Meissen porcelain factory. I never heard of the Meissen porcelain factory, so tell me about that.
Oh, you will now, sir.
Educate
It's only
me.
been around since the 18th century.
Yeah, 1710, continuous operation for 315 years. It's the oldest porcelain factory in Europe.
Okay, and I'm only finding out about it now. How does that?
I found out about it a month ago.
Where is your porcelain made?
In Hungary,
porcelain? I don't have any porcelain. I've got porcelain tiles. They're made in Spain, I think. There we go.
There's a bunch of fancy. If you scroll down, it's like I put it in the first or the second paragraph. All the ones in Hungary. Yeah, it's the second one probably. There it is.
Right, okay.
Holohazy 1777, Herendi 1826, John. These are like nouveau riche products compared to Meissen, which is 1710.
So is Hungary a particular? Educate me about Hungary. Is Hungary a particularly centre for porcelain?
It's the ones that I listed are quite popular. Yeah,
the F1 trophy from maybe last year or something was the hand painted porcelain thing for the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That rings a bell, actually.
I see tourists lining up outside.
It was,
of these.
and one of the drivers broke his. It was a whole thing.
Yeah. Of course it broke. It's pretty important.
Where is this? Is this porcelain place in Glashütte, or at least
no? It's
nearly?
like 35 miles, like 40-minute drive from Glashütte.
It's in Saxony.
It's close enough. Yeah, it's in Saxony.
Close enough for a collaboration.
Yeah, very close actually. And
Not their first collaboration.
Worked together before. Yeah,
cool.
Meissen
they broke up for a while and got back together.
Oh, that's Ariel. Ariel's painting. You got a sideline.
Yes. Yeah. If you scroll up a little bit, you can see this is it's basically the same things.
So basically, let anyone have a go is what we're saying.
I want a blue collar job, okay? Just please.
Did you take it home? Is it on display?
No, they sent it to me and I had to pay a tariff on it.
Brilliant.
I had to spend an unconscionable amount for this mug.
So is it behind you? We want to see it. Where's the mug? Go get the mug. We want to see the mug.
It's in the other room. Okay, I can bring it into the next show.
Next show, we want to see the mug.
It came out nice, actually. It really came out nice.
David, did you get a mug?
Yes. So I painted one for my mom because here the service is that you paint your stupid mug, which is a beautiful object, but then you paint on it. And actually I did, and then it turned out quite bad. And they take it and then they glaze it and then they fire it and then they put the little Meissen logo on it and all the rest of it, and then they package it and they send it to you, right? So you cannot just take it with you because it's not like a fired complete piece of thing. Yeah. And so it's a nice little service, and I had it sent to my mom.
Yes,
so she received it as a and she received it as a gift basically out of nowhere, and it says to mom from Meissen with love or whatever. And then I painted the Meissen logo on the bottom of it, but it came out terrible because of course I have absolutely no idea how to do it. And then because there are people whose job is just to paint the Meissen logo, they painted one next to mine and the little smiley face because it's just one really crooked bad Meissen logo.
This is how you're supposed to. Chives is a big Meissen fan, so if Chives wants if somebody's in need of a porcelain butler as well as a watch butler, then they can get Chives.
It's the nicest thing Chives has ever said, by the way.
It is. It is. Ariel, I'm fascinated by you trying out all these new jobs. I feel like next week we need a picture of you doing something else, like playing football or emptying the dustbins or going to an office job with a briefcase and getting in an elevator or something. I think each week we need this is Ariel's busman's holiday this week. This week Ariel tries yoga or what would? Yes, sorry, I'm remembering a story of somebody. Little aside, did you know there's such a thing as naked yoga? Is this a thing in the States? I was disturbed.
We have naked everything, Rick.
is. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay, yes. I was disturbed by something about being sent.
Depends on the state.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Right, and then Ariel. Oh, they're very tiny blue screws. There we have it, Glassfoot original. So, what do we think of the watch? Obviously, it's a very nice painted porcelain watch, but as a watch, is it any good? Do you like
How
it?
cool
I mean,
is that
it's
picture? I like that.
just as good
That's
as every
quite cool.
other Geo watch.
Yeah, okay. So it's
You get this for like 30K, maybe 35 for the super colorful one. I mean, if you compare that to like 55 in US for the longer, I think, that's a tough ask. I think for 30K, this is quite nice in the sense that you get something that's truly special. This is as organic a collaboration as it gets. I mean, two Saxonian historic company. I think that's pretty cool. I quite like these. If you're bored with dress watches, then this is where you go.
I want to say, and it continues to amuse me, that's why I bring it up all the time, that Alanganzone and Glassfoot Original are like nemesis. They're
no, you've muted yourself, Ariel.
So Ariel muted himself just when you were not supposed to tell the story, apparently.
That's right.
I was just saying that
Self-assert.
it amuses me that Alanganzone and Glassfoot Original are like arch nemesis. Most of the brands in Glassfoot, I understand, more or less get along, but like even though they're next door neighbors, they're like, again, and a lot of it is sort of the Swatch Group versus Richemont and all that. I get it, but it's just kind of funny that they're like, I wouldn't call them bitter rivals, but it's pretty bitter. So it's just kind of amusing, but I think that where Glassfoot Original really does win is in that value proposition. And Langes are gorgeous and beautiful, but no one less them is claiming that they're a particularly good deal. And Geo definitely beats in that department.
Did Geo produce any? Is Geo's most expensive watch not still cheaper than A. Langenzone's cheapest watch?
No,
not even close.
No. No, I mean, look,
What's the-
we just that around 45,000 euros. We just talked about that Glassfoot Original Flying Tourbillon, which what was that, David? Like 120,000 euros.
Oh,
or
right,
something?
okay. So it's not that A. Langenzone's strategy of around 45,000 is so that if they see that Glassfoot Originals is 45,000, oh yeah, this is actually 46,000.
No,
This is
no. They make a flying tourbillon for like well over 100,000.
Right, okay, cool. Good. Right. Well, I've done the equation of time, so the show can only go.
We could do it again.
We could do it again. Let's actually hands-on from Ripley for the H. Moser and see Pioneer Flying Hours watch.
Oh, I shot
Let's
this
have a
one,
look
yeah.
at this. Yes, this is Ariel's photograph. Ripley, what do you reckon to this then, that you've actually seen it?
These are interesting. I mean, it's not their first flying hours watch per se, but it is a completely different way of doing it. Moser's really good at making deceptively simple watches. Sometimes it's taken in an irreverent manner where it's like the Swiss Alp watch where there's like no hands on it and you have to pull the lever to chime out the time on the minute repeater. This is a bit more approachable and conventional. It's a flying hours watch, but in the previous version was more like the Star Wheel approach where you've got multiple exposed discs. This, you just have the central disc that displays the minutes, and then each of those little speech bubbles is going to display the hour. Only one's going to display the hour at any given point in time, and the one displaying it lines up with the corresponding minutes. So it looks a bit odd at first, but it's a lot easier to read than the previous ones. I also like that they've decided to put it in the in this case shape, which is it's a bit more modern and sporty. Get 120 meters of water resistance. It is quite large, but it's sort of an interesting watch from their side where it's still very simple, keeps the emphasis on the dial like a lot of their pieces, but at the same time gets to play with kind of a different complication and then a unique presentation of that complication on top of that.
I think my issue with this, and I don't know how much it is the blank space. I think that looks odd. I think when you're showing the 11, please do check out the YouTube channel for the pictures. When the 11 is showing in one of the dials, the other two dials are blank. I am surprised that Moser didn't take the opportunity to put something stupid in the other two spaces.
What would you preferred?
A really Mosery thing to put something in there, like a dollar sign or
a Swiss flag sign.
A Swiss flag.
So here's where I support you. Here's why I support you.
Weird.
If you look at the windows, they're actually shaped like chat bubbles, right?
Yes.
So it does make sense if there's a sentiment in them or something like that, you know?
Yes, an emoji was calling out. Now, that is all to say that I 100% expect that Moser will do that at some point.
Now that
now that they've heard it from us, we can take all the credit. But I highly expect that somebody will put something in those alternate windows, probably just in time for Watches and Wonders.
But what should it be?
Yeah, we should nominate. Should we nominate?
Just a middle finger emoji. I don't care. Just something that's not. That's just a blue nothingness.
An aubergine. Yeah. So it's just a bit weird. The empty space.
The whole thing. It's just not even. It looks like something that was saved on a computer like V1 or something like that, you know, like when you don't follow through the whole thing and you don't complete it, and then it just goes out the door. Like, okay, that's it. We do it now, I guess.
Now, somewhere between $35,000 and $46,000. Is this a good deal for a Moser watch?
It's not bad.
Is it okay?
Not great.
I mean, it's a re-gearing of a Star Wheel complication that you can pick up for a lot less than that, for sure. They seem to have added a bit more on.
Well, it's almost the opposite of like a Wandering Hours. In the Wandering Hours, it's the minute track that's fixed, and it's the hours that move around. This, technically speaking, the hours disc, they rotate, obviously, but they're fixed in those three locations around the dial, and it's the minutes track that rotates in the center.
Yeah, they've just. I imagine it is a fair. I would need to have a think about it, you know, because my watchmaking skills are not what they used to be. But I suspect this is actually a fairly simple re-gearing of a Wandering Hours complication. But I would need to think of how they did it. Feel free to suggest in the chat, or to come at me if in fact this is horrifically complicated and therefore
Moser, send us one and we'll take it apart and then send you back all the little pieces in the Ziploc bag.
we will reverse engineer this to work the way that a Wandering Hours should work.
Of course.
Yeah, I like it. And I like the fact that it's in. Is this the Pioneer case that it's in? Yes, it's Pioneer Flying Hours. I do like the Pioneer case from Moser. So yeah, if that floats your boat, it floats James's boat in the chat. Moser rocks. Then crack on. Now just because of people not being about, we haven't played What You Like for a couple of weeks. We did have 90s computer games. I did lose the post-it note which I had them written on. I believe so we're going to make this up as we go along. I believe one of them was Street Fighter. So we will start with Street Fighter. Which watch brand best, or which watch brand or which watch SKU best represent Street Fighter? So I say the name Street Fighter. What do you think of first in terms of Street Fighter? What is the essence of Street Fighter to you?
It's just hard not to say Seiko.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they literally had a Street Fighter edition, didn't they?
Yeah.
No, but I think
Japanese,
the essence
very
of Street
aggressive
Fighter,
with the fighting.
Yeah,
so
but I think
many
the Street Fighter is learning the tap codes on the controller. So I think we're looking for something that's either has disproportionately too many buttons on it for what it does. And bizarrely, I was thinking of the Patek Philippe, that World Traveler thing that's got the 4 horns on it. Or David is showing is that a Garmin?
It's like left, right.
Yes, it's exactly that sort of thing that I'm thinking of. So
this actually has. Have I shown this?
Okay, there's 5 buttons, but also a touchscreen.
Wait a minute, have you all got one?
Yeah.
Yes.
And how Garmin's buttons work is you can either hold
You
or
only wear
tap them.
Panerai, sir.
Yeah. Garmin's buttons you can either hold or tap them. So if you just the bottom left button, tap versus hold are 2 different commands.
Yeah. And if you hold 2, it activates a kill switch on this, which deletes everything in 10 seconds. Kid you not.
Oh, yeah, the military one?
2 buttons. Yeah. I mean, that's what I was showing. Yeah.
The military one has that.
All right, okay. So what? So you can
don't press those by accident at the airport.
So going through, it says kill switch on it.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah, we're sharing the Seiko Street Fighter, but I think that's a loser watch. It's definitely. So what is the watch specifically you're showing, David, on the screen?
It was a
Garmin?
Tactics 8 from Garmin. Yes.
Tactics 8 from Garmin. There we go.
Yeah.
So I think
you can
I
press
think
all the buttons, which I sometimes do because it's not very intuitive. Like you find something and it works, and then it's like I had another one, a couple of months ago, and then that did things differently. So it's just, you just gotta go crazy.
Cool. So I think
you managed to. Yeah, that was a good call, Rick. You managed to capture the essence of the Street Fighter without just the characters.
Essence of Street Fighter. So anyone wish to dispute that either in the chat or on the show?
The essence of button mashing.
The essence. Yeah. Now I'm going to try and do this without the music suddenly coming on. So give us a second. There we go. So we're going to go for the next game, which was suggested, which you can remember. I can't remember what the third one was, but it was this. It was Outrun. So here we go. The janky original.
I thought we were going with Ridge Racer.
Was it Ridge Racer? Oh,
I
okay.
specifically remember the old Ridge Racer.
Right, okay. Ridge Racer. Let's go to Ridge Racer then. I need to Google that. Ridge Racer. I don't remember. I remember the name, but I don't remember the game.
The same thing, probably.
Not quite as Outrun. Outrun was really early.
Okay, Ridge Racer 1993. Let's see. Is there somebody playing with this? Oh, here's a Top Gear article on Ridge Racer to show us a picture. Okay,
nothing
so
on YouTube?
Which not yet. I'm trying to find something.
What?
So that's a still from Ridge Racer. Which watch best represents Ridge Racer? Right, I have a YouTube video, but it's got lots of music with it and lots of adverts. So let's just get past that a second. So Ridge Racer, I didn't play it, so I can't tell you what the essence of Ridge Racer is. So
it's like a tag. It's like a Hoyer stopwatch.
Hoyer stopwatch. There we go. Here's the essence of. Here's Ridge Racer from some YouTuber. Playing in the background.
Those were the days.
Nosy eating.
Big concrete walls, boxy, pixelated.
Ooh,
PlayStation
slide and everything. Wow,
he's doing quite well. Actually, he's doing quite well.
That was really advanced. That motion for the time.
No, here comes the adverts that we can skip in 4 seconds.
Like the Tag Heuer F1. Like in retrospect, it feels a little janky, but it was pretty big and groundbreaking at the time and inextricably related to racing. And you would see this at like every arcade in the same way that there was an era where like the F1 was like on 8 out of 10 tag owners' wrists.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm not sure what this is now seeing. It's just PlayStation adverts. So Tag F1, anything else? No? I'm not feeling inspired myself because I'm not familiar with the game. If we'd stuck with the other one, I would have been full of ideas.
I mean, this is an extremely difficult game for my associative brain, I have to say.
You suggested it.
Well, the whole like watches being compared to other thing, that's been always a challenge for me.
Rick, just get Revolut already. I mean, how many Revolut ads can you get in like?
How many?
What is Revolut?
Just succumb to it.
What is it?
What is which watch is most like Revolut that it just keeps on jumping into your chat?
Is it a bank? I'm so confused.
Yeah.
Is it telling you to overthrow the government? I don't know.
It's got Mueller corner. Which watch is most like? Maybe that's what you do. It was most like a Mueller corner.
I love seeing your ads. We don't have any of this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
You would love Revolut.
Do you not have Revolut in the States?
Of course not.
Not as far as I know.
There we go.
They move your bank account to Estonia area, so I think that's safe and sound.
It does sound safe these days and warm.
Okay, so Ridge Racer is like F1. Give us a fight. I can't remember what the final one is we spoke about, so we might just need to get a miss unless anyone.
A little COSC-Watch or something where you could play a game on this terrible tiny little display.
Please don't make us get into this.
There was a peer-to-peer version of it, in fact.
A peer-to-peer.
Yes, Casio GD-8. That's what you want to Google.
Casio GD-8. Oh, cool.
See?
Vintage car racer.
Nerd alert.
Here we go. Let's nerd out to this, and it can be used for 400. I remember this.
Yeah, which one has better graphics? This or PS1?
That's way too much money for that.
I had forgotten about this. Wow, let's buy these. I think we should buy 4 of these and have a competition live on the show. See if we can got the H. Samuel from Bournemouth. It was bought. Okay,
this is a lot more approachable than some of Casio's game watches. There's some that use like an infrared thing, and there's like sword buttons on the case. Okay. So this, I think I could learn how to play this. It looks like there's just 2 red buttons on the front.
You can get them for 200 or 300 quid on eBay. Although this one appears to have a broken screen.
Why do you guys hunger for bad games?
It's your childhood
nostalgia.
It's novelty, nostalgia.
Yes, there was other things in my childhood that were bad, and I want to forget those things. Good games, yes. Bad games,
I can understand the bad games. The new ones are they're like a whole little world. This, it's like I'm going forward in a car, and I can press either that red button or the other red button. The new games today that are bad, it takes you a while. You'd be playing it for a while. You're like, oh my God, this sucks. These ones, back then, you immediately knew it sucked. Okay? You didn't have to process it. Within seconds, you're like, yeah, this definitely sucks.
But it was entirely addictive, and the little dopamine rush it gave you.
Okay, if that's how you got your kicks, okay?
It could only literally only did 3 things. It moved left, it moved right, or it moved into the middle. And that was it.
And it made you feel like a champion.
Exactly. The dream was still alive. I like that. So
I like how it just says car race. Like, hey kid, what would you rather be doing right now? Definitely racing stolen cars, right?
Okay, so next week's What You Like is going to be what category? I feel I'm tempted to say like really random sports. Or like novelty sports. David, what's the so in Scotland, the Scottish sport would be shinty. So that's a Scottish sport. You only play it in Scotland. Shinty.
Guys, how many more months of these do we think Rick has to them before he moves on to another game?
It uses a ball and a stick. A very heavy ball and a very big stick.
That narrows it down.
Yeah. So a ball is like, David, is there a uniquely Hungarian game?
What's your heviest stick sport?
National sport.
Yeah. Queuing for bread, probably. I don't know.
Is it that bad now?
That's probably, you can win at it. If you jump the queue and get a bread, that's how you win.
Okay. So national pastimes. So give me another category. Come on, categories for next week's What You Like. Any in the chat. We've done hot sauce. We've done Hungarian.
When are you going to start getting to obscure national holidays?
Obscure national holidays. Obscure national holidays.
So watch to that, but let's do it.
Let's do a bunch of holidays from countries you've never been to.
What would you wear on this occasion? I think that's how it works.
So obscure national holidays.
I think sub-Saharan Africa and Southeast Asia definitely have some holidays to educate us about.
So David, get on Google right now and give me 3 national holidays from African countries.
Oh gosh. That will probably be easier to match the watches and this other stuff, I have to say. More flourish and decoration.
Yeah, a national holiday. Yeah,
We
it's
got to
not gonna
choose
be
Beauvais for something, okay? And HYT. Let's not forget HYT.
Maybe we should do it the other way around. Maybe we should select 3 watches and then go off. Right, okay, let's do this the other way around.
Oh,
let's find 3 watches, and then we've got to go and find any topic in the world, the most obscure thing that you could wear this watch to celebrate. Okay, so give me 3 really obscure watches, but that you love. So, like the Charming Birds, is that one of them? Give me a Beauvais.
Apparently it is.
Okay, so the Charming Birds watch. Give me 2 other watches that your job in the next week is to go and find the event, the hot sauce, the cultural icon that you would associate with this watch. The more obscure, the better.
We should say BRM
Birds.
because I was thinking about them for the other one, and they're pretty obscure at this point.
BRM watches.
Yeah.
Okay. And a final brand or SKU of watch. Ripley, David, give us something obscure.
Like the Frank Muller Croco watch.
Frank Muller. Croco. I don't know what that is. Croco
There's
watch.
a bunch of them, actually.
Yeah, it's a series.
Okay,
Just
so there we go.
Yeah.
You've got the Charming Bird watch, anything from BRM, and Frank Muller Croco watch to go and find your most obscure, appropriate topic, subject, national holiday, or hot sauce to go with these watches for next week. Right.
I already asked AI, so he's not paying too much attention, but I asked Perplexity to give me 3 weird national holidays from Africa, Asia, and America.
Okay,
and he gave me 3. And
only
feedback I gave it was weirder. And then it's like, okay. Here are 3
just because
even weirder holidays.
How does it define weird?
I want to know the answer it gave you because I'm interested. Go on. What were the holidays it gave you?
Okay, so in Africa, it was the holiday of the fat man in Ethiopia.
Fat man, Ethiopia.
Why is that to be so cliche?
I don't know.
Mr. Asian country, come on.
No further comment on that. That's just what it gave me. From Asia, we can choose between the Kanamara Matsuri, the festival of the steel phallus, which takes place in Kawasaki. This quirky holiday features parades of giant phallic statues and celebrates fertility,
it's in Japan, right?
Yeah, and protection from sexually transmitted infections. So that's great. That's
the Grand Seiko with those big pushers.
Oh, the steel phallus. That's what I want. Yeah, from Grand Seiko. Come on. And in America, it's either pigs or cats, apparently, because there's the National Pig Day and the National Cat Herder Day.
We need the cat herding. Yeah.
Yeah, but we make up holidays. None of our holidays are
this
real.
is made up.
Yeah. Choose your poison amongst that lot then. Right.
I think it's easy. It's not that easy. Is it Ethiopia or Japan? Which one wins? We'll have to make up.
Final hands-on for this week from yourself, Ariel, the Norcane Independent Skeleton. What did you make of this?
You didn't want to do the Timex?
Well, we can do that. We can do the Timex.
No.
No. We did the Timex. What did you make of the? No, don't do the Timex.
Please,
What did you make of this when you went hands-on? Did it improve any when you actually saw it in the flesh? Because I don't like it.
Well, okay. So if you look at the dial in the right angle, you realize that someone was trying to like make it look like a landscape. So this is the only time ever a mountain range landscape has been somehow turned into a skeletonized watch dial. And you just have to at least appreciate that basic artistic task where they try to imagine that there's like a reflection in the lake underneath there. Yes, it's kind of abstract.
Mountain.
But they're definitely going for a somehow merging a skeletonized watch dial and a landscape picture. So that's cool. Not the prettiest watch, not the most legible one. The case is cool. They are comfortable. It's a pretty fancy movement made for them. I want to say by Sellita, like Sellita's high-end division, I think put this together for them. And it's a pretty nice chronograph. And I think what's interesting is they're like, okay, we have to take one of our cases and we want to have a slightly novel movement. It's got to be skeletonized. Definitely got to be skeletonized, but we want to go skeletonized differently. And this is a result of it. And you can't hate it for that. I think the hands do not need to be skeletonized. I say that all the time. Like, please don't skeletonize the hands on a skeletonized dial. And I think this is proof that if they were not skeletonized, it'd just be a little bit better. But as I've worn these, again, they're comfortable. I've developed kind of a soft spot for them. They're not the greatest things, but you know what? These reminds me of my appreciation for Graham watches. I don't know what the hell happened to Graham. Maybe they're not even around anymore. You know, some of those Graham watches were like kind of weird but lovable. I like this, like those old Graham watches.
Okay. Explain the chronograph to me. So it's got a set. All right, okay, I see what it is. So it's a 30-minute chronograph. Is that right?
Yes, that's all you get.
Right, it's a 30-minute, right? So
nothing
the bottom,
your time ever lasts more than half hour.
So
right?
the dial at the bottom is the running seconds.
Maybe.
Yes, maybe. Have a guess. So right, okay. So the dial at 6 o'clock is running seconds. Then the center hand is the chronograph seconds, and the dial at 12 o'clock is the 30-minute chronograph. So this is currently showing 3 minutes and 14 and a half seconds. Which is weird, but there we go. Okay, Norcane, David, Ripley, discuss.
These look better in the hands-on photos than they did in like the original renders. I think when you see the actual photo of them, some of the different layers and finishing on the various pieces that form the dial or lack thereof, seem a little bit more cohesive, and without that sort of visual depth when we saw the initial images, it looked worse. It almost feels more disjointed, but I like the appearance of it better. It's kind of like there's this pseudo abstract mountain thing that you could imagine being printed on like the logo of a windbreaker, and then amid this kind of transformery looking stuff going on. It looks better in the photos. This still isn't the Norcane I'm going with. And I really believe that if you're going to go for a chronograph complication, it should time more than what you could do with a dive bezel. But these do look a lot better in the photos, especially the teal one.
$7,500.
Yeah, that's a strong ask.
That's a big ask, is it not? I mean, you're really into
just how much these things cost these days. I mean, you know, if you look
brands at that price.
Yeah.
But what's a Tudor chrono though? Like 5-6 grand?
Yeah, 6. Yeah, more like 6 now.
Yeah, $6,000. But yeah, at least you get like the BO one in there.
Yeah,
6-7.
Okay,
yeah.
There's a Solita. What happened? I thought that Norcanes were sourcing their movements from Kinesi. Is that a thing of the past?
They can get from wherever they want.
Well, only the three-hander non-skeletonized one. So if you look at the wild one, they use that Kinesi movement in the solid dial ones, and then they do the skeletons. It's a Solita that they do it with.
Right. Okay.
And I think this is exactly why the Kinesi brands like Tudor end up looking to Breitling when they need a chronograph.
Right, okay. Holy cookie. Some final news for this week from Watch Pro 2 things. Watch charts had a glitch, and so everybody lost their collective mind as it appeared to show that the Rolex prices were crashing due to some sort of data failure. I mean, it is what it is.
This is so stupid. I mean, this is not the stock market. I mean, you have to. It's not like you have to like make these deals. You have to make these sales. It's not like it's like the stock exchange where you like where something like Bitcoin or and everything else that tanked like the other day. That's not how it works.
If you're looking at these charts, you don't love watches.
Yeah, and that's also true. And I mean, it dropped a whopping $400. So
I know.
You know, if you zoom out, that would be like it's like a chart this big that I can't even show. And there's this drop. But if you zoom in, it looks way more dramatic. Who thinks of these things? Who cares about these things? It doesn't make any sense. None of this makes any sense. It's not a drop, and even if it was, it couldn't have happened.
How long was this drop before it was diagnosed as a glitch?
Yeah,
it dropped 1.7%.
It's weird. Like you see the headline, you go, "Ooh, interesting." Then you click and you go, "Wait a minute, This is nothing. This is literally.
Do we think it's funny that even though Watch Pro does not have a magazine anymore, as far as I know, they still pretend to have magazine covers?
And digital edition.
Digital edition. I mean,
it's meant to look like it's a magazine cover, yet it clearly says, no, there's no magazine, but we made a cover.
This is the dumbest chart. I mean, this is way below Watch Pro. I mean, this whole article, this whole thing is just, it shouldn't have happened.
It's like,
is there a way below Watch Pro? Just say.
It's a new low for them for sure.
Look, it's a mixture of content. Some good things, but look, we know Watch Pro. We love Watch Pro. They publish some truly unprofessional garbage.
This should not have been out there.
Well, here is another from Watch Pro just to keep them going. Short-term working extension for Swiss watchmakers and suppliers. So with a nice AI-generated picture of...
Like
That's
all of their
terrible
pictures now.
Oh my God. What the? Like, they're not even looking in its wake direction. It's like, this is a generic watch, and I'm looking at the bracelets for the loop from like a mile away.
AI generated combo of.
All right, I'm banning Watch Pro from the internet now, or at least from my browser. That's for sure.
Trump towers blame for continuing uncertainty. So my question is not so much that this is a shame, but what should we be getting of these Swiss watchmakers to do now that they've got this free time on their hands but still being paid?
That's a terrible picture.
In the chat.
Just pose for pictures.
Option.
Pose for actual. Actually, there you go. Pose for actual pictures for Watch Pro.
Yeah.
Create an image library that Watch Pro can actually use rather than using AI-generated stuff.
You know, there are some of these people who became like these meme stars or whatever, like Hide the Pain Herald and all of them. You know, they actually were just ordinary like people who went on this photo, like what like the stock photo. You know, they would make all these like, you know, just random pictures of themselves.
I know what they can do with their off time.
Mm-hmm.
They can fix all those broken watches they refuse to get to. Every single day, not every day, every week, I hear stories from people buying new watches that have problems with them. And these watches are all going back to Switzerland because all the brands refuse to let anyone in the United States or most other countries fix them. So the amount of watches going into Switzerland that need to be repaired has got to be huge right now. I think that they can finally start to get to some of the backload or not make people wait like 8 months. I mean, we've had people buy a brand new watch. It immediately doesn't work. And they have to wait like the better part of a year to get it back. And you know, it's a gamble. Is it going to work when I get it back? There's like no assurances.
I would just ask for my money back.
They make that difficult, clearly, you know.
What's the situation in the States at the moment with watches being sent for repair that have to go to Switzerland? Is there must be some sort of
before?
Is there? It can just move freely backwards and forwards.
Freely?
You're kidding, right?
Whole lot of paperwork going on.
Yeah,
freely to Switzerland. No.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm getting a watch to review from IWC, and I freaked out because they were, you know, just they sent that, oh, you know, we don't have one in Germany at the moment, but we can there's one in HQ and we can send it to you. And I was like, before you send it, just think about all the tremendous expense of customs and declarations and the weeks in customs and all the rest of it. You know, it's like, and you have to pay the VAT, which is like 27% here. So that's crazy on a 15 grand watch. And then you have to apply to get it back.
Really?
I think, and you get it back like half a year later. So you know that your money is just basically just floating in there. So yeah, that's bad. So they are sending it to their German offices because then, of course, they have the paperwork and all this. Because there's ways of temporary export and import, so you can do it. You don't have to like permanently do it, but it's a nightmare.
Yeah, that's the way that musical acts work. Is they temporarily export certificate all their show rig gear, then bring it back in. Borisic in the chat suggesting that there's quite a bit of a queue at Glashütte as well. Was there any evidence when you were visiting Glashütte of a big stockpile of watches or anything waiting for repair? Did everyone seem busy?
Busy is not what I'd call it.
I didn't see like a big pile of watches being, but it's not like they have those at the manufacturer. They have it at the after sales service. So I'm not saying it doesn't exist. It's just that when you do a manufacturer visit, it's like, and here's our stockpile of broken watches.
Here's a stockpile. Here's a stockpile of stuff that we haven't repaired
We saw
yet.
a little bit of repair work. We saw a little bit. There's like a few. It's peppered in here and there.
We saw a little bit of that at Hublot as well. There was this like purple-ish sapphire cased monster of a watch that was being taken apart because apparently it had water damage. So that was a casual six-figure price watch with water in it. All right, that's your typical Hublot owner. Like, I just jumped off my yacht with the crown like somewhere else. Just pulled out. It turned into a fish tank, basically, like a purple fish tank. You can see the water inside, probably.
We're going to come out with that watch next year.
Yeah, the fish tank watch. Cool. Right, that is our show for this week, gentlemen. Anything you're particularly looking forward to review? Anything you can reveal to us is coming in the next week?
I will be in New York for whatever goes on there. There's going to be a couple of shows going on, so there's going to be a lot of watch coverage.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm doing that. Yeah, I'm chocked full of reviews. I'm up to here with watches to review.
Excellent.
And now I keep thinking about the technical ability to make a tiny fish tank on the wrist with little goldfishes in there moving around. Chopard has to make it.
What if it was one of the oil-filled ones, so you could they could actually be floating in there?
Good.
What if you
people are thinking
combined
about how to make this real.
Yeah. What if you combined it? Remember those games you used to get whereby
the little buttons,
the little buttons, and it would make the fish dance or make the basketball jump into the hoop. So Zin, we're speaking to you. We need the ability to.
No, that's Olance. Olance is going to do that.
Olance, right? To push air into the oil. Phil, who's it that makes the oil? Is that U-boat that make it with the bubble? They still keep the bubble in the oil?
They're the ones that make the weird, useless ones.
Yeah,
Yep.
we need a couple of basketballs, a little basketball net, and some pushers in there for that. Ripley, David, anything going on this week of excitement, watch-wise? No.
Watch-wise, no, not for me.
Well, I mean, you feel free to share other things going on in life if you wish.
I'm getting married in a couple of days, so I'm turning a blind eye to the watches, and then
excellent.
After Wednesday, if you're releasing a watch this week, I'm sorry, I'm not going to cover it. That's not personal. That's my own personal life.
So what watch are you wearing for your wedding?
I'll wear a Seiko.
Wear a Seiko. No, I think we can do better than that. I think I've somebody not got a sapphire Hublot we can lend Ripley.
Well, mine was actually the purple one that I turned into a fish tank that David saw over in Neon. So yeah, mine's in the shop. Sorry.
Rude.
I told them to hurry up a little bit.
Did they keep the eels in there? I really hope that could become a permanent installation.
It's how they power the watch, little electric eel in there, providing some power to the Mecha Quartz movement. David, what's going on in Watch World this week for you?
Hopefully I'll receive that all black ceramic ingenieur, which I'm looking forward to trying out.
Good, and the VAT bill to go with it. Good stuff. Right, that's it from us all this week. We hope you enjoyed the show. Stick around for a wee minute if you wish on the live chat. But for the main show, that's it from us. Goodbye. Cheerio.
Bye, everyone.